Welcome to Inspiration and Transformation from the Banks of the Ganga with Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, an American sannyasi living at the Parmarth Niketan Ashram in Rishikesh, India. Sadhvi is president of the Divine Shakti Foundation, a charitable organization bringing education, vocational training, upliftment, and empowerment programs to women and children. Sadhvi is also Secretary General of the Global Interfaith Wash Alliance and Director of the world-famous International Yoga Festival. Join the musings of an American sannyasi as Sadhvi shares the wisdom and teachings of her guru, His Holiness Pujya Swami Chidanand Saraswatiji.
Welcome everyone to Inspiration and Transformation from the holy banks of the sacred Ganga River in the land of Rishikesh, India. The only blessing left that I want in life is that my 38-year-old daughter should be married. Is there anything you can recommend that I can do to make sure that happens? So, wanting our children to be happy is what parenthood is about. We want our children to be happy. We want them to be successful. We want them to be peaceful. We want them to have even more than what we have in life. The dilemma arises when we think that we know what they need to be happy. And a lot of times we don't. And we end up actually creating more friction through our agenda than help. So, you haven't mentioned in the question whether your 38-year-old daughter wants to be married, whether she's looking for a spouse, or whether this is something that in your mind you feel, well, she would be so much happier if. Could keval shadi kar leti to fir sab theek ho jata. But that's our way of thinking. That's our agenda. And what we're seeing a lot, I imagine it's always happened, but we're seeing it more and more in recent generations, is this conflict between parents who want the best for their children, only want the kids to be happy, and yet the parents' vision of what would make the children happy is actually quite different from what the children themselves think would make them happy. And that's really important. 38 she's an adult. And I have to imagine that if getting married were a priority for her, if that were something that she was really, really looking for, she'd make it happen. But if by 38 she's not married, what that means to me is that that isn't such a priority for her. Maybe her career is more of a priority. Maybe traveling is more of a priority. Maybe her spiritual practice is more of a priority. Maybe she's in beautiful relationship, but they're just not married, whatever it may be. But I would say that there's absolutely nothing that you as a parent can do to make your 38-year-old daughter get married. And the best thing that you can do for her happiness, her peace, and also your relationship is for you to let go. Because on some level, she knows you're not satisfied with her life. On some level, she knows that you want something from her, of her, for her. that isn't there. And that's going to create a challenge for her. That's going to create a sense in her that somehow she's letting you down, that somehow she's disappointing you, that somehow she's not fulfilling what you want for her. And that takes away our happiness, takes away our peace, takes away our freedom. So certainly ask her, darling, beta, honey, whatever you call her, are you looking for a spouse? Is that something you'd like me to help you with? And if she says, oh yes, please, for God's sakes, I'm dying to get married, could you just, do something? Well then, by all means, let me know, we'll think of something. But my instinct, given that she's 38, is that she's making different decisions in her life. And that the last thing that she needs is to feel like she's somehow letting you down, or she's incomplete or inferior because she's not married. Because what that message does is it says, on your own, who you are is not enough. Jab tak koi patti nahi hoti, well, you are not complete. And that's a really dangerous message. I mean, marriage is wonderful. Lots and lots of people in the world are very, very happy in marriage. But for a lot of people, that's not necessarily their dharma, or maybe it's just not their priority right now. And I know a lot of people, both monastic renunciants, sannyasis, as well as non-sannyasis, non-renunciants, non-monastics, who are not married and very, very happy. Their lives are very full. And I also know a lot of people who are married and who are miserable and who wish that somehow they could get out of the marriage in order to be happy and peaceful and free. So it's neither the presence of a marriage nor the absence of a marriage that actually brings that joy, that meaning, that fulfillment in life. We've all got different paths to walk, different dharmas to unfold. And so the best gift you can give your daughter, the best blessing for her, is that she should find happiness. She should find peace. She should find fulfillment, meaning in her life as it is. And that she should feel totally free and empowered, not just by society, but by you, especially her parents, because no matter what we say, we always want our parents to approve, to be proud of us, to respect the choices we make, to understand us. And so the best blessing for her is joy and peace and fulfillment in whatever path she chooses. And for her to know that your blessings as her, not sure if it's a mother or a father, but as her mother or as her father, that your blessings are with her. Not blessings that she should get married, but blessings with her for whatever path she chooses. And that you fully support her. And you fully respect her. And you fully see her and recognize her as a full being. Chahe koi pati ho ke nahi hai. It's not a husband or a wife that makes us full. We are full. And in our fullness, should we choose to get married? Wonderful. And in our fullness, should we choose not to get married? Also wonderful. If you're looking for a relationship to complete you, you're going to be bitterly disappointed when you get involved in one, because you're going to find that it doesn't. The relationships that are the most meaningful and successful are two people fully grounded in their own fullness and completeness, who come together in that fullness. So don't think that she needs it in order to be full. Bless her with your love, with blessings of happiness and peace and respect and celebration, whatever she chooses. And again, if she says to you, yeah, kuch karo, find me a partner, find me a spouse, well then, let me know, or hum kuch na kuch soch lete hain. We'll figure it out. But check with her. Check with her whether she wants your involvement or whether she's really happy the way she is.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Alaya, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Welcome back to Inspiration and Transformation. I'm so glad to have you all back here with me. We have to realize that not forgiving is actually keeping us stuck. That it is that holding on to a grudge that keeps us stuck. My favorite story about this is the city in India that was overrun with monkeys. And the city council was trying to figure out what to do. Because obviously, you don't want monkeys overrunning your city. But on the other hand, we're a non-violent people. They're not going to take out guns and shoot them. They're not going to poison them. And so someone came up with this brilliant idea. They took coconuts and they hollowed out the coconut. And inside the coconut, they put something that monkeys love. A piece of fruit, a sweet. But they made the hole in the coconut big enough for an empty hand like this to go in, but too small for a closed fist to come out. So the monkey would stick its hand in the coconut, grab hold of its prized treasure, a banana, a sweet, and then it would be stuck because the fist couldn't come out. Now, you would think, because monkeys we know are very intelligent, they are our closest DNA relatives, you'd think they would be smart enough finally to realize, oh, it's holding on to this thing that makes my hand stuck, my leg stuck, and they would let it go and free their hand. But they never did. Now you imagine if you've got 4 legs and 3 of them are free, but 1 of them is stuck in a coconut. You actually can't run. Imagine a monkey running with 1 leg stuck in a coconut. No can do. You can't climb a tree. You can't swing from branches because if you watch monkeys, you'll realize they actually use all 4 of their legs. So the coconut ended up being this perfect trap in a way. They no longer could run, they couldn't swing, they couldn't climb. And so what the city council was able to do was go out with big nets and get them, and then take them back into the jungle or forest. Now, I love that because this is exactly what holding on to our grudges does. We think that through this grudge, through this pain, that we're somehow going to get something. That's why we hold on to it. On some subconscious level, the ego thinks it's going to get something. Maybe we're going to get something from the person who harmed us. Maybe we think they're going to come back, maafi mangenge, they're going to apologize. They'll beg for forgiveness. They'll love us again. They'll see how much they hurt us. They'll do something really nice to make us feel good. Or maybe we think that we're going to get something from society. People will see what's happened to us. They will feel badly. They will give us sympathy and empathy. They'll take good care of us. They will love us. Or maybe it's something in our own lives. Maybe as long as I identify as being harmed in that way, being abused, being betrayed, being cheated, being lied to, being abandoned, whatever it was. Well, it's a ready-made excuse that I have not to step up to the plate of my own life. It's a ready-made excuse never to trust. It's a ready-made excuse never to fulfill my dharma. Because, well, I was harmed, I was this, I was that, that's why I'm afraid, that's why I'm miserable, that's why I'm depressed, that's why I'm anxious. Isliye main kuch kar nahi pa rahi hoon. It's a ready-made excuse. It's a crutch. So, if we're not letting go, you have to realize there's something that unconsciously our ego thinks we're getting from it. Whether from someone else, from our own selves. And this is where we have to realize that it's actually like the monkey situation. We're not getting anything from it. Like the monkey thinks it's going to get a sweet, it's going to get a fruit. This banana is just, it's coming. When actually, that is now what has handicapped me. That is actually now what is making me stuck. If the monkey wanted to be free, all it has to do is be prepared to let go of its closed fist over the sweet or the fruit. And then it's free. Its hand would easily come out of the coconut. It would run away. It's the very thing that it thinks it wants that ends up bringing about its downfall, that ends up making it stuck. Today is Gita Jayanti, and in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna emphasizes over and over again letting go of our ignorance. Being prepared to let go of the ignorance because our ignorance makes us suffer. People say ignorance is bliss. It is not bliss. In our ignorance, we get angry. In our ignorance, we feel jealous. In our ignorance, we compete. In our ignorance, we feel like we are less than in some way. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is suffering. And so if you really want to let go of this pain, this grudge, first of all, you have to be deeply, acutely aware that holding on to it is what's making you stuck. It's like if I had a hot coal and I threw it to you. And you didn't quite know what it was, so you caught it. And as you catch it, you realize it's burning your hands. Well, you're as fast as you can, you're gonna let it go. Because you realize it's burning my hands. I don't need to give you a lecture to let it go. You don't need to read all 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita to let it go. Instinctively, we know this is harming me. It's burning me. It's a hot coal. You're going to drop it. And so you need to be acutely aware of how this grudge, how this pain is keeping you stuck. Allow yourself to really introspect on that. What is it in your life that is stuck because of that? And then when you go to let it go, close your eyes and really dive within and find in your body, because we hold pain in our body. Find in your body, where is that pain? Look at it. Does it have a color? Does it have a shape? Is it solid? Is it moving? Where are you holding this pain in your body? A lot of us hold it in our stomachs, in our solar plexus, in our necks, in our backs, in our shoulders. Some of us hold it in our hearts, maybe other parts of your body. But where is it? And it may not be only one place, it may be several places. What does it feel like? What memories are associated with it? And then really feel yourself extricating it from you, like it were a tumor, because it is. Go within visually and feel yourself extricating this tumor of pain from within yourself. And then feel yourself holding it in your hands. Find a sacred yagna, a sacred river. Find the base of a tree. Something that is an embodiment of the divine, an embodiment of the universe, of nature, of the healing aspects of Mother Nature. And offer it. Put it into the fire, put it into the water, bury it in the earth, knowing that you're giving it back to the universe. And as you do it with a big exhalation. Because we hold our breaths in our pain, in our grudges, in our anger. Really allow yourself, just let it go. And you may certainly find that you let go some of it now, and that a week or a month or a year later you find, oh my God, there's another layer. That's all right. Let it go again. We don't necessarily always get it all at once, because there may be layers to the unconscious that we don't even necessarily see. So whatever's there, pull it and let it go. And if it arises, let it go again. Just keep giving it back to the universe. And every time that the mind goes there, think of the coconut. Think of the coconut. No, I know where that's going. It's like if the monkey were smart enough to pull its hand out, but then it saw another coconut, it would be smart enough. They learn, no way. I'll take my bananas from the open cart, not from inside the coconut. I know what happens. Because we learn. Usme mein fas jati hun. Usi vichar mein fas jati hun. I've seen it before. I know what happens. I get stuck. I know where that thought is going. It takes me to misery. I don't want to go there. So next time it begins to arise, just look at it like you were the monkey looking at the coconut going, not this time, not this time. And bring on a different thought, a thought of love, a thought of joy. Bring on your mantra. But give your mind something else so that it doesn't keep ruminating that. And it works. I've seen it in my life. I've seen it in so many people's lives. It works.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Like Baldwin with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I grew up loving circuses and other traveling animal shows, but it never occurred to me what life might be like for the animals. Training wild animals to do things they don't understand takes force. Routine discipline with a hook or whip with the heel of a boot shows the animal exactly who's the boss. Don't patronize animal acts. Please contact People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
757-622-PETA.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with inspiration and transformation. God is inside of us. What does that mean? When we say God is inside of us, what does it mean? Does it mean that God is, sitting on top of your kidneys right next to your adrenal glands and you just have to somehow be able to see it? What does it mean God is inside of us? What it means is the truth of who we are, the core of who we are, is divine. If I say to you, who are you? Aap kaun hai? You're going to tell me your name, you're going to tell me where you're from. Main yahan se hoon, main ye kaam karti hoon, I'm this one's wife or husband or mother or father. You'll give me your job, you'll give me all these things. But that isn't who you are. Those are all attributes of the body. Your age, your height, your weight, your size, your bank account, your job. These are attributes of the body. Body keeps changing. That's not who you are. The core of who you are is the divine. So when we say go within, what it means is that divinity you are looking for is within you. You've been created of the Creator. There was a temple in, I think it was Thailand, that was the temple of the clay Buddha. And there was this huge Buddha made of clay. And one day, and everybody would come and worship this beautiful clay Buddha. And one day, the monks of that temple were cleaning the clay Buddha. And they saw some light. Something was shining. They thought, what is that? So they started gently, slowly, trying to see, what is shining? And they could see in a crack in the clay, it looked like gold. लगता था कि सोना है उसमें. तो धीरे 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 slowly they started moving away the clay. And they discovered that actually inside the clay Buddha, there was a golden Buddha. And it turned out that originally it was a mandir of the golden Buddha. But then all of the invaders came at a time when they were stealing everything, melting everything, looting everything. So the monks in the temple Usi Samay at that time, the monks of the temple of the golden Buddha decided, well, let us cover the Buddha with clay. Taki lagega ki it's worthless, so that the invaders wouldn't harm our Buddha. And the good news was that the Buddha was left unharmed, but the monks died. So there was nobody left who knew that inside the clay Buddha there actually was gold. And I love that because this is a perfect metaphor for this teaching of God is within you. We live like we are made of clay, that we are this kind of junk. We are our weight, our size, our skin color, our jobs, our success, our relationships. But we want to be gold. Right? We want that light. And so we look outside for it. And it would be like covering the clay Buddha up with gold. Right? So koi matlab nahi hai. Wo to hai sona. It is gold already. You don't need to find more gold to stick on top of the clay. All you need to do is remove the clay. Melt the clay. And then you have that light. And so the teaching is we are looking for the divine outside of us, when actually who we are at the core, the very core of who we are, like the Buddha was gold, the core of who we are is divinity. We've been created not just by God, but of God. Like a drop is the ocean. But we're looking outside for that divinity. Chalo ek degree le lo, ek course card ke certificate le lo, ye karo, wo karo. We're looking to keep doing more things to feel like it makes us more divine, more light. When actually all we have to do is remove that clay to find the gold, the divinity within ourselves. And so that goes back to your question of how do we find it? Well, it's simply a matter of removing that which is not true self. So we practice this beautiful meditation. There's a beautiful meditation called Neti Neti, which is literally not this, not this. So we begin by saying, I am not my shawl. I am not my sari. Okay, we all understand that. I'm not my skin. I'm not the blood beneath my skin. I'm not my bones. धीरे 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 ध्यान में हम ऐसे अपने को समझाते हैं. You think, oh yeah, of course, ठीक, I'm not my bones, I know that. I'm not my organs, not my kidney, not my liver. But then we get more subtle. I am not my brain, right? My brain is just made up of neurons. Gray matter, white matter. The brain functions with chemicals and electricity. What makes thoughts, emotions, feelings there's this electrical charge that runs in the brain, and then the neuron that has the chemicals, it releases the chemicals. then that makes more electricity in the next neuron. Then that neuron releases its chemicals. That's what we call thoughts. If we say कि मैं ऐसे सोचती हूँ, या I am feeling this, thinking that, what that really is saying is the electricity in my brain is causing the neurons in my brain to release chemicals that form a pattern that we call sadness or we call anger. But it's just chemistry and electricity. I am not chemicals. I am not electricity. Right? We know that. Which means I'm not my thoughts. Means I'm not my feelings, not my emotions. Dire, dire, you go one by one, what I am not. And then we hit that beautiful space in which the clay has been removed. Not clay, not clay, not clay. And then that true experience of who we are, that goldenness, it arises. It's there. Apne aap. So that's the meaning of God is in you. God is also outside. God is everywhere. ऐसे नहीं कि God केवल मुझ में है. God is in everything. So when we say God is in you, it means you don't have to look outside. But if it's easier for you to begin by experiencing God in a mandir, in a deity, in Mother Ganga, in a tree, that's fine also. It's the same God. Doesn't matter. But eventually the awareness arises कि मुझ में भी है. That same divinity I am worshiping outside also exists in me.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Like Baldwin with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I grew up loving circuses and other traveling animal shows, but it never occurred to me what life might be like for the animals. Training wild animals to do things they don't understand takes force. Routine discipline with a hook or whip with the heel of a boot shows the animal exactly who's the boss. Don't patronize animal acts. Please contact People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
757-622-PETA.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with inspiration and transformation. How do you deal with envy and hate from others, from friends, and even from close relations? We don't have any control over someone else's emotional state, sadly. It would be really wonderful if we could dictate and control and change how people feel. Don't be angry. Calm down, right? How many times have we tried to say to somebody, calm down? Stop being angry. Don't be sad. Right? We say these things, but has anybody ever actually stopped being sad because somebody said, don't be sad? I mean, think about when you were sad and people who say, oh, don't be sad. Does it make you think, oh, all right, okay, I won't be sad. You've said not to be. Or if you're really angry and the person you're angry at says, don't be angry, does that make you not angry? And of course, the worst is when people say, calm down, don't be stressed, right? That's when you get people saying, I am calm, So we don't have any control. Trying to control other people's emotional state is just an exercise in frustration and futility. What we have control over is ourselves. And so when someone is envious of us or hating us, it sparks in us upset, pain, hatred, anger. And that's the part we do have control over. So if someone around you is feeling envious, or if someone around you is feeling hate, what you've got to work on is how do you keep yourself clear? I mean, we just got out of the COVID pandemic. What did we do when we moved through the world in a place where people were potentially sick? What did we do? We wore masks. We stayed socially distant. We washed our hands. We, did the things that we were taught, we learned over the last several years to do to protect ourselves. You couldn't make somebody not sick, but you could make yourself not contract their sickness. You could keep yourself healthy, protect yourself. And it's really about the same thing. Our spiritual practices are actually about building our spiritual immunity. So I don't mean you have to stay separate from people or actually wear masks, but the way that we protect our spiritual immunity is with our meditation. A mask over our face isn't going to help. Spirituality is not about distancing yourself from people. It's about staying connected, but in a way where someone else's ignorance or ego waves of emotional state, anger, envy, fear, confusion, that they don't end up literally making you sick. Which is mostly what happens when somebody's angry or full of hate or full of envy. They make things really difficult for us. They're the people who are really difficult to be around, especially when they are colleagues, family members, and you've got to see them every day, work with them. The only way is to develop a really strong spiritual immune system through recognizing that you are not someone else's projections. If I sit over here and I say, oh, you are like this, you are like that, you are this, well, that's only going to impact you if you buy into my story. Then you get upset. Then you fight back. But if you're walking down the street and there's somebody, or you're in a subway station or something like that where there's lots of people, and a lot of times you see people who are not in their right senses and they're kind of standing in a corner shouting and screaming. Now, if you're walking down a street, Or you're walking through a subway station and somebody is clearly not in their senses and they're yelling, and you walk by and they say, "You are the evil witch of the West." Now, are you going to get all worked up about that? I mean, is it going to ruin your day? You realize, first of all, I'm not the evil witch of the West. Like, clearly the person is having some sort of psychotic episode. But what you're going to realize most importantly is what they're saying is about them, not about me. Doesn't matter what I look like, doesn't matter who I am. This person is in the middle of a hallucination in which what they are seeing is the wicked witch. I could have been anybody walking by. It's irrelevant. Their hallucination is showing them Wicked Witch of the West. But that's not about me. So I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm not going to lose my sleep or not be able to eat my food or need to go to therapy because some drunk or not in their senses person told me that I was the Wicked Witch. In the same way, when people in our lives who may not so obviously appear to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol or not in their right senses, when they lash stuff at us, we have to remember it's about them, it's not about us. They may not be actually drunk or on drugs, but they're certainly under the influence of ego, of ignorance, of fear, of their own illusion, their own sense of being not enough, that leads them to envy me for having more than they think they have, and just triggers their feelings of not enoughness. But it's not about you. And so whether it's a family member, whether it's a colleague, whether it's a drunk person or psychotic person on the street, you have to be clear. This isn't about me. It's about them. And so don't buy into it. Don't react. Maybe if you're, a spiritual person or practicing loving kindness, metta meditation, maybe as you walk by that person screaming at you, maybe you'll send them some loving kindness because you realize they're really suffering. And because you don't get triggered by what they've said, because you realize they're sick, you're able to send them energy of love. You're able to send them, may you be in peace. May you be healthy. May you be safe. Because we understand you are suffering. It's like if you walk by somebody who's coughing and sneezing and really sick. Well, first thing, you're going to want to make sure you don't catch it. But once you know you're safe, you're going to feel empathy, or at least sympathy for them. Bare minimum, some pity for them that they are suffering so much. So in the same way, when people are lashing out, realize it's because they are not well. They're in a state of dis-ease. Now, it may not be some diagnosable disease by medical textbooks or psychology textbooks, but they are definitely not in ease, in health. Because if we are, that's what we share. If I'm in a state of joy, I'm going to share joy. If what I'm sharing is hatred and envy, it's because that's what's brewing inside of me. Right? I mean, if you walk by somebody and they're sick and they throw up on you, Or you pick up a baby who looks really cute but who hadn't yet been burped, and the baby kind of pukes all over you. Well, it's not about you. It's about what that person has inside them. Whatever they have inside them is what's going to come out on top of you. Because they weren't well. Because something in them wasn't settled. And so it came out on you. So your task is twofold. Number one, first and foremost, protect yourself with your spiritual immunity, with your meditation, with your energy. We talk a lot in here about conscious energy, either receiving or transmitting, because we're always doing both, but we can very consciously also decide what we're going to do more of. So when you're in a time and a place that's deeply enriching and filling, you're in the Ganga Arati, you're on the banks of Ganga, you're in a beautiful hug with a loved one, you're smelling some beautiful flowers, you're in a beautiful, deep, meaningful conversation or connection, that's the time you open yourself and you want to just receive and receive beautiful energy. And then there's times when, to the extent possible, you want to turn the receiving off and turn on the transmission. And that's when you're going to be in places where you know the energy is not what you want to be receiving. It could be a really crowded subway car. It could be a family dinner. It could be a board meeting. But before you go into it, consciously realize, okay, this is my transmitting time. So we protect ourselves with meditation, with being conscious of our energy. And also in the same way with COVID, where we were told, 6 feet, give yourselves 6 feet. Typically a sneeze can't go that far, so if you're 6 feet away, you're safe. In the same way, there are sometimes people where really the best thing to do is just to see how distant you can become. Can't always do it, I know that, but to the extent possible, can you maintain a distance of some sort to protect yourself? And if you can't, then maintain that distance emotionally, at least. If you can't maintain it physically, when you're with them, just make sure that you're constantly chanting your mantra, that you're doing something else with your energy, that the awareness is on your breath, you're chanting the mantra or reciting a prayer or an affirmation. And then the second part is to remember it's not about you, it's about them. And to the extent possible, offer them your love, offer them your kindness, your compassion, your empathy. Bare minimum, offer them your sympathy for the fact that they are suffering. And that's why they're essentially vomiting on you. So feel badly that they're not well, but do whatever you can to stay far enough away that you don't keep getting vomited on. And that power of your meditation will really protect you. It forms this energetic mask that really keeps anybody's stuff from impacting you. You're able to just see it. Oh yeah, that's their stuff. Oh yeah, they're like that. Okay. But it stops impacting us.
This brings to a close this hour of inspiration and transformation. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad to be together with you all each week, and I look forward to being together again next Thursday, same time, on OMTimes Radio.